Greetings, everyone. Happy Saturday. Today is the day that Saturn rules, and Saturn is currently at the 0 degree of Aries, which is the pure potential of the Aries energy. First of all, happy Saturday. I am the Moon Mama, also known as Monique, and this really is our Master Nodal class, but I gotta really be honest with you guys, and I think for you guys who are following me, I feel like I have been really off the nodal conversation since Mercury went into retrograde. Now we're moving into eclipse season and all that sort of stuff. All those transits have been really significant, and I feel like they have hijacked my initial reason for being here, which is about the nodes. And but everything does work together. It's not like I'm ignoring the nodes, just knowing that focusing on another perspective of the same cosmic shift that we're going through, just wanting to acknowledge that my intention was to be here talking about the nodes, and I don't feel like I've been talking about that a lot. And the nodes are very important because we're now about to move into Virgo season in about a week, and the nodes are there. The South Node is in Virgo, so I want to get back to that because we're about to move. And the nodes rule the eclipses. The nodes are the point of eclipse, which are the deepest points of change. And now, with the eclipse in Virgo ruling the gut, the digestion, the brain that's in our gut brain, we're literally moving, like this eclipse is going to impact our bodies, our current ways of being. Like, we're going to be forced to let go of things that don't serve us anymore. So it's just important for you to begin to look at what's dissolving in your life, what is floating away. You know what I mean? What's happening in your world that you are aware of that you can't hold on to anymore, that's collapsing, that's ending? What are the endings that are happening in your experience? Because whatever they are, they're going to quicken in this upcoming sun season with the eclipses in Virgo. It's going to, whatever it is, you're going to have to really let it go. All right, so what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about Saturn. Today is a Saturn day, and Saturn rules the day, and Saturn is the energy that governs discipline, structure, time. It governs our ability to move into devotion of something. That's actually kind of a Neptunian energy also, but Neptune and Saturn are conjunct one another right now. And Saturn is at the 0 degree of Aries. So Saturn is retrograding right now out of Aries and back into Pisces. And this is going to be the last time for 28 years that it will be in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is this energy that gives us the power we need to clean out our ancestral wounds, the ancestral patterns, the ancestral addictions, the ancestral behaviors that are not going to go forward with us. So for those of you who have not picked up the Saturn workbook, I want to invite you to do that, because the Saturn workbook is going to support you in navigating the energy of healing your karma. And what does healing karma mean? Karma is not bad. Saturn rules karma. Karma is not bad. Karma is just momentum, right? So it's, so say a person exercises every day. There's a momentum that gets in place because you have a practice that you're doing every day, a discipline, right? And then that discipline of exercising every day impacts your health. It impacts your mind. It impacts your body. It impacts other people in your life. That is Saturn. That discipline, you could have a discipline of drinking alcohol every day. And then that drinking alcohol has an impact on your body, has an impact on your relationship. That's what karma is. Karma is the choices that you are making that drive a momentum that then give a specific result, because you've been putting all your energy and attention in that way. That's the law here. Where you put your attention, your energy flows. So if you put your attention in relationships that don't serve you, that don't feel good to you, you're going to get back experiences that don't feel good to you. If if you put your attention, if you use your money in a way that doesn't really satisfy you, you're going to get results of being dissatisfied in your economic, right? It's all a momentum. It's not just one thing that's happening. It's all the things you're doing that create that outcome. And what karma means is that you've likely inherited it from a past life, like there was a behavior in place in your past life that you bring to this lifetime so that you can work it out. So for instance, maybe like I know for me in my past life, I have the South Node in Libra, so that's how I know what my past life was. That meant in a past life, my life was very focused on others. It was very focused on partnering and relating. And so in this lifetime, when I first came here in this body, my impulse would lead me towards that momentum of others. Like I always was thinking, oh, I need a relationship. I need this. I need to feel the approval of this person. I really needed relationship. And once I started understanding my chart and realizing, oh, that was karma, and my dharma now, which means what I'm up to this lifetime, is to be focused on the relationship with me. So I have had to do the work to break that pattern because that pattern was deeply rooted in a karmic momentum. So my energy was just always naturally geared towards others, thinking about others, what they need to feel good about me. And then that became a karmic pattern that I have been deliberately, intentionally working to shift to bringing that energy to me. This is what karma is, and this is why it's not something you can just snap your hands out of. You have to work yourself out of it. It's literally like being born into a family and an experience, and now you're here to alchemize those patterns. I was born into a family where there was a lot of addiction, where there was a lot of Christianity, meaning you were looking for some sort of source outside of yourself. And those are the patterns that I have been working to transform. This is what Saturn is. And those patterns are deeply rooted inside of you because Saturn rules the bones, the structures. So those patterns are, like I said, they're not something you can just, so for me, one of the patterns has been my father's karmic relationship with racism. And as much as I'm not my father, and as much as I feel like the world is different, I inherited my father's karmic patterns around racism. So I had to deliberately redo that. It's like inheriting a house, right? And you inherit the house that your grandmother had, and she still has all the furniture in it, and it's still painted the same way, and it's still and then you get the house, and then you have to go and refurbish that house, but you have to invest in it. You might have to spend more than she spent on the house to change it. You know what I mean? Because maybe your grandmother bought it when the house cost $20,000, and now it's 50 years later, and now the house costs $2 million, and you're going to have to invest $100,000 in it to change it. That's what I'm talking about with karma. Like, you have to invest your energy in a new way of being. And this is why I say go get the workbook, because without my experience, I think that people can do whatever I think people are capable of everything, because I know what God is in all of us. So I don't believe that you need to do it the way I do it. I'm saying if you don't know how to do it, get the workbook, because that will assist you in creating a foundation and a framework for the work of shifting your karma. And that's my point. So Saturn is at the 0 degree of Aries. Saturn in Aries is about your identity, like really who you're truly meant to be. And Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So the thing that's important about this is you get to create who you want to be. Like, nobody's here to tell you, but you do have to be in integrity with your code. Your codes will tell you and direct you. Nobody else can tell you. Your code, your inners will tell you who you're meant to be. You'll feel it. You know it. Like, I have always, even though I didn't know exactly what it looked like, I've always known on some level a feeling of what it meant for me to be myself. Even though I was very connected to others and seeking others' approval and, feeling like I should have whatever it was about others. Even though I knew that, I still was like, there's something else that I'm compelled by. And so when I would find myself in situations that were about relationship, ultimately it would collapse because I would start to feel like, oh, this isn't it. Because I have the North Node in Aries, which means I have to be focused on myself. So you now, in this next 2.5, 3 year period, it's about really being selfish and focused on yourself. Setting boundaries for yourself. And the boundaries are not for other people. I just get very annoyed when people are like, you have to set boundaries for them. No, you're setting boundaries for yourself. I'm not setting I'm setting boundaries for me so that I know that, oh, I don't have this to give right now. I don't have the energy to support other people. I don't have enough for myself to make somebody else a priority. So I'm setting the boundary for me. I'm not setting it because sometimes the boundary is you can't watch TV right now. Sometimes the boundary is you can't afford to eat that ice cream right now, not because of money, but because your body is like, I can't eat that, right? The boundary is for the person. It's for you. It's not for anyone outside of you. The boundary is so your God self, your inner child knows that you are devoted to what you're up to. Boundaries don't have a motherfucking thing to do with anybody else at all. At all. So with Saturn in Aries, for the next 2.5 years, it's going into Pisces for a little bit longer until the end of the year, and then it's going to come back and be here for 2.5 years. Saturn in Aries is saying create boundaries around how you function so that you can actually have the energy to function how you're meant to function how you're meant to. Okay, so that's the Saturn piece. And then the sun is in Leo today, and the moon is in Gemini. And the sun is in, the moon is in Gemini. I don't really know. That's a very playful, communicative energy, like, out and about talking and having fun. But really, it's because the Mercury is still in the retrograde shadow. And for those of you who haven't picked up the Mercury retrograde book, it's now $10 so that you can do the last 3 weeks of rituals, because we have about 2.5 more weeks of this. But it's about you fine-tuning. Like, think of like a instrument being fine-tuned, right? Like I grew up in a house with a piano, and sometimes you could hit the piano and the key will be off, and somebody would have to come in and tune the piano. You want to tune your own self. You want to tune yourself to who you're meant to be, right? And that fine-tuning, for me, is a very interesting experience, because it means being really clear about how to best use my energy, how to best relate to people. And so what that has meant for me in the last few years is that I don't do a whole lot of friendship stuff anymore. I used to be someone who was really, really friend-centered. I'm not anymore. I'm work-centered. I'm centered on me. That's a fine-tuning. Like, okay, I can't give so much energy to others. And when the people that I do associate with as friends, we have a lot of work in common. It's rare that I'm in committed or friendship relationships with people who don't really understand or value what I'm up to. Where before, I used to be in relationships with friends, and they would be like, what are you doing that astrology stuff? And no fault of their own. I'm just saying that I used to be in friendships with people who didn't value what I did and who I was. And that was a sort of energy drain. And I had to fine tune it. Like, one time I was dating this guy, and initially when we were dating, he was all into what I was doing. And then like one day he just showed his colors, and he laughed at me, and he was like, yeah, you believe in that silly ass shit. And I was just like, oh, I can't lay down with this man. He's not really about what I'm about. He had been pretending like he was, but I saw the underbelly of it, and he was making fun of it. And I was like, how can I lay down and share my body with somebody who really is making fun of what I do? I had to fine tune it. Nigga, you got to go, right? But that was a lesson that I needed. I needed to understand who I am, what I'm up to, and I had to honor that. I had to set that boundary for myself. I cannot be in intimate relationship with people who don't honor where I am. All right, y'all. it's not that he wasn't honoring me, it's that I had chosen. It wasn't that he wasn't honoring me, it's that I had chosen someone who mirrored to me how I was dishonoring myself. I chose someone who mirrored to me how I was dishonoring myself. So when he began to make fun of who I am and what I do, it's literally, I had to realize I created that. I invited him into my life. And even though he showed up one way initially and now he's behaving another way, that's the underbelly of my own shadow, right? So, because everything here is a reflection. Like I said, so the boundaries that I'm setting are for me. So the sun is in Leo, which is about our creative self-expression. And are we honoring our creative self-expression? Are you honoring who you really are? I just spent about 30 minutes talking to a man who's English, sweetest guy, about he sells plants and he has the best plants. Y'all know I love plants, and he has the best plants. And I'd never buy any of his plants because they're super overpriced, but they're really nice. And I can't get the same plants, but I can get similar plants for a fraction of the cost. But I just spent 30 minutes talking to him about the fact that he rescues cats. He and his wife had just rescued some cats from under the neighbor's house, and I just love that stuff. Like, that's who I am. And to be having conversations with men, which is a very new thing for me, men who honor their own feminine energy. A friend of mine texted me yesterday and I was so happy. He's like, I came out to my car and there were 2 dragonflies, hovering over my car. And he's like, isn't that amazing? And I was like, yeah, that is amazing. But what's more amazing is that you're excited about it. That's what's amazing to me, that you are excited. You are a man and you are excited about 2 dragonflies. That shows me that I'm generating a reality in a world that actually is becoming more magical, because the men in my life are honoring and functioning in the ways that I think are in alignment. And so the more we can honor ourselves, the more that the universe will mirror to us people who honor us, right? The moon in Gemini is, like I said, it's a very social day. Like, it's a day to, talk and write, and but it's also a great day to spend some time writing about who you're becoming and what you're up to and what you want for yourself. And like, it's important to honor that. Okay, you all, so that's really it for today. If you are interested in joining Daughters of the 13 Moons, the portal is open for maybe another day. Today and tomorrow. The portal is open for today and tomorrow, and then it closes again. So if you want to do that, you can ask me for the link and I will send it to you. Remember, the Mercury retrograde workbook is $10 now, so you could do the last final weeks of Mercury retrograde. You can get that at my website at healwithmoonmama.com or in my link tree here. And then the Saturn workbook, if you want to do the work on your karma, on the karma, let's not call it your karma, but on the karma, because karma is really a collective thing, especially on our families. We also have our own karma, but karma is the way this reality functions, cause and effect. And so I just think it's better for us not to think about it in a negative way, not to own it, not to like claim it as your own, but know that that's just the way of it here. Like, nobody's claiming the sun, right? But the sun is shining on everyone. Everybody's being impacted by the sun. That's how karma is. Everyone's being impacted by it. No one is having, everyone is getting what is their momentum, right? And I also am very mindful, for me personally, I never think about other people's karma. I always, because the moment I'm starting to think about, like, if someone does something to me that I might consider, bad or quote unquote wrong, I don't allow myself to think they're going to get it back, because the minute I think that, I'm going to get it back. Okay. Like, it's that kind of thing. And so it's just like honoring the natural rhythm of things and the momentum, and staying in your own lane and minding your own fucking business. Because if you're looking at somebody else, whatever you judge, that's the thing about karma. If you judge it, you own it. If you look at somebody else and think what they're doing is wrong or they did something wrong to you, then you call that energy into your own